Hello there, my friends. Welcome to the Star Wars Vault. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for new Star Wars content every week. Alright everyone, let's get right into this fan fiction that was suggested from a member of the community. What if Qui Gon Jinn fell in love with Shmi Skywalker? Our story begins when two Jedi Knights along with a Gungan, R2-D2, and Padme disguised as a handmaiden arrive on Tatooine. The group landed on the sand planet in need of repairs. Obi-Wan Kenobi stays back with the ship as his master Qui Gon Jinn takes the others to a junk shop nearby. This is where he meets the owner Watto, a mean, selfish Toydarian who also happens to own a couple of slaves. Shortly after a cold welcome from Watto, the Jedi Master senses a being nearby who is very strong in the Force. Qui-Gon was unable to buy parts as Watto stated he won't accept the Republic credits the Jedi was in possession of. With Jar Jar's idiotic antics on full display, Qui-Gon heads toward the exit. "Master Jedi," the handmaiden shouts. Qui-Gon turns around. "I made a friend. Before we go, you should meet him and say hello." The Jedi Master gives a curious look, then nods. He walks over to the other side of the shop. He looks down and sees a boy repairing some parts of a pod racer. "Why, hello, sir. I'm Anakin. And you are?" "Qui Gon Jinn," he says with a smile. "I must say, Anakin, you are very good with fixing complex equipment. Might I ask how old you are?" "9, sir," the boy replies. "I'm fixing up a pod racer. There's a big race coming up." "Have you ever piloted one of them?" the Jedi asks. "All the time. I'm really good, you know." Qui-Gon's head tilts back. Not many humans can possess the skills to pilot one of those. You must be very intelligent for your age." Anakin smirks. As the group begins to walk out, the boy follows them to say he was glad to have met them. Watto tells Anakin he is free to go after finishing his duties. "Woohoo!" he shouts. Once he steps outside, the locals warn him to get inside as a sandstorm had arrived. He catches up with Qui-Gon and the group, telling them they should follow him to his mother's home as sandstorms are very dangerous. "Mom, I'm home!" Anakin yells as he walks inside. A woman appears in response. "Well, I see you have brought company." The group shares their greetings, with Master Qui-Gon stepping forward to shake the woman's hand. "I am Qui Gon Jinn. A pleasure to meet you." The boy's mother smiles. "My name is Shmi." "Shmi?" he replies. "Yes. Shmi Skywalker," she gushes slightly. "Well, Shmi, I had the joy of meeting your son earlier. Might I say, he is extremely bright and talented." Shmi nods at Qui-Gon. "That he is." Everyone sits in the Skywalker kitchen as they eat and learn more about each other. "Can you please stop touching everything with your tongue?" Qui-Gon says to Jar Jar with a stern voice. "You're being rude to our hosts." Jar Jar mutters, "Uh-huh," with his tongue out of his mouth. Anakin laughs at the Gungan and his silly behavior. Qui-Gon looks at the boy and says, "If your pod racing skills are as good as you say they are, you must have Jedi reflexes then." Anakin looks down, then back up at Qui-Gon. "You're a Jedi, aren't you? I saw your laser sword." Qui-Gon laughs and replies, "Perhaps I killed a Jedi and took it from him." "No one can kill a Jedi," Anakin responds. If only that were true. "Have you come to free us?" Shmi looks puzzled after hearing her son's question. "I'm sorry, no," the Jedi replies. "We are on Republic business and stopped for repairs. However, we're out of luck when it comes to that." "I know, your credits won't be accepted by Watto," Anakin answers. "I do have an idea. There's a pod race coming up very soon. You could have me pilot it and say it's yours, enter it in the race. I'll win it, and you can get your parts for your ship." "Anakin," Shmi looks at her son with disapproval. Master Qui-Gon looks on in interest. "Mom, you say the biggest problem in the world is that no one helps each other." She then smiles. Qui-Gon asks, "Would you approve of this?" She looks at the Jedi. "Yes, he can help you. He was made to help you." Padme smiles but voices uncertainty to Qui-Gon in private about trusting all their faith in a little boy they don't know. Later that night, Qui-Gon takes a sample of blood from the young slave, claiming that he's checking for infections. Once he sends the sample over to his Padawan Obi-Wan, who's reading the M count on his ship, he reports back to his master saying, "The ratings are off the charts. Over 20,000. Even Master Yoda doesn't have a midichlorian count that high. No Jedi has, Qui Gon replies. Suddenly, the Jedi Master senses a presence watching him. He looks over and sees the boy's mother staring at him. She begins to walk back inside until Master Jinn interjects. Is there something I should know about your son? What do you mean? Shmi replies. Well, I don't mean to overstep, but Anakin seems to have abilities that most do not. From what I can tell, he sees things before they happen, and from my observation, he possesses many Jedi traits. Shmi begins to look at Qui-Gon with great curiosity. What are you thinking right now? Are you wishing to take him with you? I'm not sure. I'd need to know more before contemplating that. I must ask, who is his father? Skywalker looks down for a moment, then back up at the towering Jedi. There was no father, she says. I carried him, I gave birth to him, I raised him. I can't explain what happened. Qui-Gon looks at her with awe. I see. Now what can you tell me about you? Shmi is visibly caught off guard. Me? What about me? Whatsoever would you be interested in learning about me? Well, recognizing how special Anakin is, surely he gets some of that from his mother, he says. She smiles back as they both chuckle. I don't think there's anything you need to know about me. There's nothing special about my life, she claims. Well, considering you gave birth to a child who possesses many gifts without a father, I'd say that makes you extraordinary, the Jedi says with a smirk. The two stay up to talk about each other's lives while they share a pint of blue milk. Shmi tells Qui-Gon about her journey as a slave, being sold from star system to star system in her early years. The Jedi Master shared some stories of his early years himself, one that seemed to really intrigue the lifelong slave. Really? You were in love once? She asked. Indeed. It was the greatest yet worst experience I ever had, he responded. What was she like? What happened to her? Qui-Gon looked at Shmi with sorrow in his eyes. Her name was Tal. She was also a Jedi Master. We had pledged ourselves to each other on our last mission. I came to help her as I was concerned with her safety. She eventually was captured and tortured until she lost all her strength. I sat by her side as I watched her die helplessly. Oh my, I had no idea. That sounds terrible, Shmi replied. It was. So terrible, in fact, it almost made me lose my way and who I am. All I could think about was vengeance, and I came so close to taking the life of the one responsible. Luckily, thanks to the strength she gave me, I didn't go down that dark path. Qui-Gon looks down as he remembers his past struggles, while Shmi grabs his hand for comfort. They both smile as it's clear a connection has been made between the two. So, have you ever thought you could love someone again? Skywalker asks. I don't know. I'm sure I can. The difficult part is recognizing the attachment could leave me vulnerable. It's a tough life being a Jedi, Jinn answers. He then looks right into her eyes. What say you? Have you ever loved a man, or would you be willing one day to? No, I've never been in love. As far as the future, I'm not sure if I can. It's a tough life being a slave, you know, she replies as the two begin to laugh. Well, I better get some rest, and so should you. Your son has a big day tomorrow. The Jedi gives her a quick hug as they head to bed. The next day, Qui-Gon learns that Watto is betting money on Sebulba winning the pod race. The Jedi suggest to enter Anakin in the race as his racer for his pod, in exchange for Padme's ship parts if Anakin wins, meaning the remaining winnings would go to Watto. Essentially, it is a win-win for the slave owner, who doesn't believe Anakin has a chance. As the race is close to starting, Qui-Gon decides to push his luck and ask Watto to raise the stakes. Since you don't believe the boy has a chance to win, let's roll the dice you have in your pocket. For what terms? Watto asks. If I win, I'll take the boy and his mother, Qui-Gon states. No way! I can't let you take my slaves. They're valuable assets. What kind of Jedi are you? Watto shouts. Look, you told me yourself Anakin has no chance of beating Sebulba. Why don't you have that same confidence with this stipulation? The Jedi asks. Well, if I win the dice roll, what will you give me? Watto inquires. Qui-Gon realizes he must risk a lot more if he is to win 2 slaves from Watto. Fine. If I win, the boy and his mother. If you win, you get our ship and all our resources even if the boy wins the race. While hesitant for a few moments, Watto begrudgingly agrees and pulls out the dice. He calls red while Qui-Gon calls blue. Little did he know the Jedi Master had one more trick up his sleeve. As the Toydarian tosses the cube, Qui-Gon puts an undetected spin on the die, using the Force to ensure his win. The cube lands on blue, enraging Watto. "It doesn't matter anyway, because Sebulba will beat the boy and I'll have your ship anyway. You won't get the best of me, Jedi." Qui-Gon scoffs as he heads toward the pod race, knowing he just set the stage to free these two slaves. As the race is about to start, Qui-Gon sits with Jar Jar, Padme, and Shmi to watch Anakin. Shmi is visibly concerned throughout the race as she worries for her son's safety. The Jedi Master assures her multiple times that Anakin will be fine, that he's destined to win. At the end of the race, Anakin uses quick adaptations to outmaneuver Sebulba and ultimately wins the pod race. Everyone celebrates Anakin's victory as Watto looks on seemingly depressed. Not only did he lose money on Sebulba, but he has also lost his two slaves. When they go back to the Skywalker home, Qui-Gon reveals that he won more than just the parts needed for their ship. He states that he had won both Anakin and Shmi's freedom from Watto. "What? You can't be serious," Shmi responds. "I am, and if he wants, Anakin will come with me to begin his Jedi training." Both Skywalkers are in shock, yet extremely joyful. "Master Jedi, if you are to train my son, what will happen to me?" Shmi asks. "Although the Jedi are not approving of Padawans being attached to their parents, I can't help but think you must come with us. Now, you won't be in the temple or see him every day, but at least I can have you close to him whenever needed. I believe it may actually be a good thing for him." As the group heads back towards Padme's ship, a dark warrior seems to be on their tail. Master Jinn senses it and tells Padme, Anakin, and Shmi to initiate takeoff as he force pushes them all onto the ship. Qui-Gon begins to engage in lightsaber combat with the mysterious Darth Maul, who proves to be a very dangerous foe. Obi-Wan is alerted and begins to fly the starship off the ground, with Qui-Gon holding off Maul just long enough to hop on the ship as they fly away. Exhausted from the encounter, Qui-Gon tells Kenobi he's not sure what the attacker was, but knows it was trained in the Jedi arts. Then he introduces Obi-Wan to Anakin and Shmi, to which Kenobi senses something unusual. As they fly back to Coruscant, Obi-Wan asks his master why the boy's mother is with them. Qui-Gon tells his apprentice that it is none of his concern. Upon landing, they are greeted by Naboo's Senator Sheev Palpatine, who begins to take an interest in the 9-year-old boy from Tatooine. Master Qui-Gon decides to place Shmi in an upper apartment on Coruscant, while he takes Obi-Wan and Anakin to the Jedi Council. It is here when he reveals to the High Council that he has encountered what he believes to be a Sith Lord. Master Ki-Adi-Mundi retorts, saying, "Impossible! The Sith have been extinct for a millennium." Mace Windu agrees with his colleague, suggesting that he doesn't think the Sith could return without the Jedi sensing it. An annoyed Qui-Gon Jinn replies, "Very well. You may feel that way, but I know what I saw. I know what I fought. The other information I bring to you is perhaps even more crucial. I have found this boy you see next to me on a desert planet in the Outer Rim. I believe he was conceived by midichlorians and may possibly be the Chosen One. I also request of you to put my Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi through the Jedi trials, since I cannot train two Padawans at once." Master Windu sits up. "You refer to the prophecy of the one who will bring balance to the Force. You believe this boy is the one?" Windu asks. "Yes, I do, Master," Qui-Gon answers. "He is too old. Train him you cannot. I sense something you're not telling us, Qui-Gon," Master Yoda states. "If you must know, I have also brought Anakin's mother to Coruscant. It is a bond that I think must not be broken if Anakin is to be trained properly," Qui-Gon replies. "Listen, as Master Yoda stated, he is too old. On top of that, you have his mother still with him. These are non-negotiable rules for the Jedi Order. He will not be trained," Mace Windu says. Master Jinn, who looks incredibly frustrated, decided that this is the last straw. "Alright, so you don't believe me that there's a Sith Lord out there who nearly killed me hours ago, and you won't let me train the boy? That is enough. I am leaving the Jedi Order to train Anakin. You won't be able to stop me. Obi-Wan, I wish you luck on your trials. You are a great student. Don't ever doubt yourself." Thank you, Master. I'm sorry to see you leave, but I do hope you know I appreciate everything you've done for me, Obi-Wan admits. Qui-Gon walks away with Anakin as he smiles at Obi-Wan. Goodbye, my friend. May the Force be with you. Qui-Gon Jinn decides to keep his temporary apartment on Coruscant to spend the majority of his time with Shmi, as he teaches basic things about the Force to Anakin. Over the next several weeks and months, the Jedi Master and Shmi begin to develop a genuine connection. One night after dinner, Anakin heads to bed. Shmi and Qui-Gon sit next to each other talking about their future. When Qui-Gon states to her that he will protect her son with his life, she closes her eyes and leans into him. The two share their first kiss as they both realize neither of them have experienced much intimacy in their lives. They continue this version of their relationship as time goes on, with Shmi being overjoyed to have a loving man, a protector, a father figure for Anakin when he never had one. Less than a year after Qui-Gon left the Order to live with the Skywalkers and train Anakin, more Trade Federation disputes within the Republic persist. After a year-long of supposed incompetence with these issues, Senator Palpatine uses Queen Amidala to push for a vote of no confidence in Chancellor Valorum. Palpatine is then nominated as a candidate for Supreme Chancellor. Now, little did anyone know that Palpatine was a hidden Sith Lord himself. Apparently, he has gone back and forth with his master Darth Plagueis on getting a hold of young Anakin Skywalker to train in the dark side. Plagueis was extremely less eager than Darth Sidious to train the boy who was conceived by midi-chlorians. Sidious, who is in allegiance with Nute Gunray and other Trade Federation leaders, orchestrates an invasion on Naboo that forces the Senate and the Jedi Council to respond. After several months of trials, Master Yoda had recently granted Obi-Wan Kenobi the rank of Jedi Knight. The Council assigns Obi-Wan to oversee and lead the resistance effort on Naboo. He teams up with Queen Amidala and Jar Jar Binks as they convince the Gungans to join their efforts in fighting the droid army. Jar Jar is tasked with leading the Gungans in this battle against thousands of droids. Padme, along with Obi-Wan and her Republic officers, search for Gunray in Theed Palace. It is here where they are intercepted by Darth Maul, who Obi-Wan decides to fight on his own as Padme and the others continue to pursue Gunray. Things ultimately don't go well for the Republic. While they were able to contain the destruction from the droid army thanks to Jar Jar and the Gungan warriors, they suffered other losses. An epic duel between Kenobi and Maul one-on-one occurs, where the Sith achieves victory over the Jedi. After barraging Obi-Wan with several lightsaber wounds to his arms and legs, Darth Maul force pushes the Jedi Knight down a chasm to where he would never be seen again. The apprentice then kills the Republic officers and kidnaps Padme. Mind you, this all occurs right after the election where Palpatine is voted in as new Supreme Chancellor. Now having major political power, Sidious kills Darth Plagueis in his sleep using an incredible amount of Force lightning. Now with Padme in captivity, Sidious uses his figureheads to orchestrate a plot to undermine the Jedi. Palpatine knows that Anakin is not being trained by the Jedi. He senses that Qui-Gon has taken him away on his own. He is certain of this fact after Maul defeated Obi-Wan, who was without his master. The Jedi Council fear the Master Jinn was right all along, that the Sith have indeed returned. Nute Gunray orders the Jedi to find Anakin if they want Queen Amidala returned to the Senate. This makes the Jedi Council weary of underlying motives, yet for whatever reason obliged with the request. They go to seek out Qui-Gon, who states he will not risk the boy's safety. If they are to bring Anakin as bait to retrieve Queen Amidala, then Qui-Gon must be present to watch over. The transaction happens as Nute Gunray and his associates secretly record the visuals of Anakin inside one of their spider droids. Padme is returned safely, and the recording is brought to Darth Sidious, who can now see the former slave boy getting older and growing taller. The Sith Master worries about the boy's future, knowing Qui-Gon is the one training him, without the structure of the Jedi Order. Palpatine believes he must control all variables, so over the next few years he seeks out Count Dooku and makes every effort to recruit him on his political agenda in order to gain intel on Anakin. Knowing Dooku had already left the Order, much like his apprentice, he believed he could get Dooku to meet with Qui-Gon and report on Anakin. Palpatine succeeds in swaying Dooku to become an ally with their political plans aligning. Over the next 5 to 6 years, Count Dooku makes regular visits to the Coruscant apartment to assist Qui-Gon with lessons for Anakin. Qui-Gon rekindled his relationship with his master, who he trusts almost more than anyone. All the while, Darth Sidious gains knowledge of Anakin's progression while he himself continues to train Darth Maul in the ways of the Sith. Once Anakin turns 18, Qui-Gon begins to take him into the Jedi Temple as well as the Senate to get Anakin familiar with the political bodies. He runs into his old friends Padme and Jar Jar, who are now both senators. "Oh, moi moi! So good to see you, Annie!" Jar Jar yells. Anakin smiles. "Likewise, Jar Jar." He then looks over and instantly falls in love with Padme. He still remembers how beautiful he thought she was the first time he saw her 9 years ago. Without the restriction from the Jedi Order, Anakin and Padme begin to date as a young couple, sharing laughs and intimate moments. There are many dinners that they share with Qui-Gon and Shmi in their apartment. About a year after Padme and Anakin reunite, Qui-Gon permits Anakin to live with Senator Amidala in her quarters. The former Jedi Master figured that Anakin is now 19 and an adult who could use some freedom and responsibility. Not to mention he is mainly okay with this ordeal since Padme's apartment is literally in the same building, meaning he won't be too far from Anakin. Officially 10 years after Anakin was brought to Coruscant from Tatooine, tensions in the galaxy begin to erode. The Trade Federation launches a separatist movement, and Darth Sidious plans to enact his major goal of acquiring Anakin as his new apprentice. He tells Dooku that he must coerce Qui-Gon into a trap where Sidious will kill him. Although he did Palpatine's bidding for several years by spying on the boy, Dooku feels torn at the core. As he is on his way to carry out Palpatine's orders, Dooku has a change of heart once he sees Qui-Gon with his now wife Shmi. He sees the happiness on his former apprentice's face and can't help but tell Qui-Gon the truth. While shocked, he did not waver, as Qui-Gon knew the Sith was out there and even recalls Obi-Wan's mysterious death years ago. The two former Jedi go to confront Sidious at his secret hangar on Coruscant. Darth Sidious soon realizes this is a betrayal by Dooku and engages in a whirlwind spectacle of a duel with the two Jedi Masters. The Sith stun Qui-Gon with lightning as Dooku intervenes and attempts to shoot Force lightning back at Sidious. Palpatine overwhelms Dooku and force pushes him against the wall, and then Qui-Gon re-engages with Palpatine using his green lightsaber. Impressively, he stands toe-to-toe with the Master Sith Lord until Sidious finds an opening and force chokes Jinn. He lifts him by his throat and tosses him out of the hangar window, presumably to a long fall with certain death. He wishes he could have executed Jinn with Force Lightning, but had to dispose of Qui-Gon as Dooku came back charging. Dooku force-pushed Sidious back and threw his blue lightsaber at him, to which Sidious deflected. The two powerful men continue to fight with lightsabers until Palpatine impales the former Jedi Master using his agility and quickness. Count Dooku falls to the ground lifeless, as Sidious now sees his opening in luring Anakin to the dark side. Several weeks pass as Jedi Master Mace Windu discovers a clone army created for the Republic to combat the Separatists. With many droid attacks going on across the galaxy, Chancellor Palpatine approves of the Grand Army of Clones, and thus the Clone Wars begin. Senator Amidala is at a loss with the announcement of war. She leans on Anakin to take her mind off things. They profess their love to each other and get married on Anakin's 20th birthday. While the two enjoy their time when together, both are very stressed with the war. Anakin believes Qui-Gon to be dead, and so he visits his mother Shmi whenever possible to keep her company. When the war started, the Jedi Council offered Anakin a position as a mercenary general since they needed all the strength they could get. They figured Qui-Gon had taught young Skywalker well, and he proved to be quite equipped. As time goes on, Sidious enacts the next part of his scheme. He plans to test Anakin's strength as he orders Maul to attack him in his home and kill his loved ones. On a night where Padme and Anakin have Shmi over for dinner, Darth Maul sneaks up through the window and attacks Anakin. Maul pushes Skywalker across the room with the Force as he grabs Padme and holds his red lightsaber to her neck. "No! Don't kill her! I love her!" Anakin shouts. Maul smirks back at him as he slices Padme's throat with one stroke of his sword. She falls to the floor as Anakin sobs over his dead wife. Maul quickly moves towards Shmi. as Anakin's sorrow quickly transforms into rage. He begins to swing at Maul with his lightsaber. Maul continues to stalk Shmi as he defends Anakin's onslaught. The Sith is able to land a couple slashes on Shmi, who collapses from these injuries. Anakin had never been more emotionally charged in his life. "You will pay for what you've done. You've taken everything from me." Young Skywalker begins to attack Maul with incredible speed and strength, so much so that the Sith apprentice couldn't believe he was being outmatched. Anakin swipes the double-sided lightsaber in half, hampering Darth Maul's fighting style. He continues the pressure until he cuts Maul's right arm off, then proceeds to execute the Sith assassin by cutting his head off. Sidious can sense that Skywalker was victorious, and can even feel the pain of the young man. He believes he has won now. Knowing Anakin has turned to the dark side in order to kill his opponent, Palpatine plans to manipulate Anakin to become his apprentice. Back at the apartment, Anakin is able to tend to his mother, who survived Maul's attack. Unfortunately, Padme's death had Anakin's in shambles. Days after her funeral, Anakin and Shmi are shocked when someone visits their apartment. It is none other than Qui Gon Jinn. Shmi can't believe it as she embraces him and gives him a kiss, thinking he was dead. "It is so good to see you, Shmi," he says. "Anakin, you must come with me. I have learned who the Sith Lord truly is, thanks to Master Dooku." "You mean there's another Sith?" Anakin inquires. "Yes, and he is more powerful than you can possibly imagine. We must face him together if we are to defeat him," Qui-Gon states. Qui-Gon and Anakin travel to Palpatine's office, and right away the Chancellor can tell something is up. He sees Anakin standing in front of him asking about some report on Geonosis, but immediately sends someone else. Is this a trap? Palpatine thought to himself. He decides to carry on and listen to Anakin's thoughts on war matters, letting his guard down. As soon as he does, Qui-Gon sprints into the room as both him and Anakin rush the Chancellor. The trio then take part in a vicious 2-on-1 lightsaber duel. While Sidious is able to land a few shots on both Qui-Gon and Anakin, the two Grey Jedi return the favor as neither of them have to rely on only the light side of the Force. With the surprise element as well as their lack of limitations, Sidious becomes overwhelmed by the two. "So, you survived, Qui-Gon. Just know it was all for nothing, as I will kill you now and force Anakin to become my apprentice." The Sith then force throws his office chair at Jinn, temporarily knocking him out. Palpatine then focuses on Skywalker, taunting him and using the dark side in an attempt to rattle the young general. "No, I will not be goaded by you. I know the truth. I know you sent Maul to kill my wife and mother. How dare you? How dare you think you can manipulate me?" Anakin force chokes Palpatine, lifting him up in the air. "I will kill you for what you've done. I hate you," he yells as Sidious smiles and creates a mini Force storm. The Chancellor's office becomes cloudy and blurry. Qui-Gon wakes up and sees the two fighting in the eye of the storm. "Anakin, no!" Qui-Gon shouts as Anakin force pushes his adoptive father out of the room. The Chosen One then directs his focus on the evil Sith Lord, who is laughing maniacally. Palpatine shoots lightning at Anakin, who catches it and directs it back at him. The two continue to exert all of their Force power at each other. Sidious's cackling immediately stops once he realizes the tension between his and Anakin's Force power is too much to stop. Anakin looks into the face of evil with no fear in his eyes, realizing what he must do. Palpatine, for the first time in forever, feels genuine fear, as the last thing he sees is Anakin's stern yet determined face. Suddenly, an explosion occurs. Both Sidious and Anakin are completely incinerated by the Force lightning surrounded by the Force storm. Qui-Gon Jinn and his wife Shmi mourn the loss of their son Anakin. However, they recognize the importance of what he did, and Qui-Gon informs the Jedi about what has occurred. In the weeks following, the Republic signs treaties with the Separatists to end the Clone Wars. Senator Bail Organa is voted into office as the new Supreme Chancellor in order to transition the Republic into a better, peaceful era. Qui-Gon and Shmi continue their relationship as they lean on each other now more than ever. Jinn remains out of the Jedi Order. However, the Order respects Qui-Gon and allows him and Shmi to come to the temple anytime they want. Anakin has a gold statue enshrined in the Jedi Temple to remind all Jedi of the Chosen One and his destined fate of eliminating the Sith forever. So there you have it, guys. That's my spin on what would happen if Qui Gon Jinn fell in love with Shmi Skywalker. What did you think of this storyline? I'd love to hear what you all thought of this fan fiction. What moment did you enjoy most? Any changes you would make during this story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Also, be sure to force push the like button if you enjoyed today's video. I really appreciate it. Social media is linked in the description below. I'll see you all real soon when I review episode 6 of The Acolyte. So until then, my friends, may the Force be with you.